you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
So we were doing the electronic configurations. So let's do it today more. I will write you till 13 today's things. So first with sodium. So if Nanika will be telling me, not Nanika, I think Papia. Okay. Papia will be telling me the configuration. So for sodium, it's going to be 11. What is the configuration for sodium? Initially we wrote it as 281.
One.
No need to write. Okay, no need to write this 281. This is just as I'm explaining it to you. That's why I'm writing it. Normally we'll just write the new configuration. So what will it be?
1s2,
Then
2s2,
continue. Say I'm like
2p6,
then
3s1.
yes. 2 to 4, 10, 11. Because
Yes, sir.
till neon actually get filled up till 2p6. 2p6 was filled up. So according to Aufbau, then after 2p, the electron comes in 3s. So that is why
Yes,
sodium is going to be 3s1.
yes.
Not drawing the box diagram because it's pretty much similar to the previous one. Now we have magnesium, 12 Mg, which we previously wrote as 8. Now we are going to write it as 1s2,
1s2,
2s2,
2p6,
6, then
3s2,
yes,
3s2. Huh?
yes. Then number 13 is aluminum. Aluminum we will write it as 283. This is going to become 1s2, 2s2, p6, then
3s2,
yes.
3p1.
So since the S substance can hold a maximum of 2 electrons, that is why the 13th electron actually goes to the p orbital. This p substance. Is it clear to everyone? Yes or no? Just like
Yes.
we
Yes,
did it
sir.
for boron, just like that. For aluminium also similar type of thing is happening. Then number 14 will be silicon. So this one, Ayush, right? Ayush or Abhay? Who is doing the class?
Ayush,
Okay. Then tell me, you will be telling me the configuration of silicon.
yes.
Tell me what should be the configuration?
1s2,
Yes.
1s2,
Mhm.
2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p2.
Yes to repeat. Then number 15 is phosphorus, which is 285. That is 1s2, 2s2, 3s2. Then you have your sulfur, S86. That is 1s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. Papia, you have done all the configurations till now correctly?
Yes, sir.
Good. 87. Are all of you like original Bengali? Are all of you know Bengali?
Yes, sir. I
Because all your titles, surnames are basically Bengal origin surnames, na? Yes, true. Fine. Chlorine and argon is going to be 1s2, 2s2, P6, 3s2, 3p6. Now tell me what will be the configuration of potassium, that is 90 potassium, which you before you used to write it as 8
8
1. So now what will be the configuration of potassium? Tell me.
1s2,
1s.
Go on, continue.
2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d1.
And then Papia, what did you write?
3D 1.
3D. Why 3D? See, after 3p, where does the electron come according to Ausbauer principle?
4s.
Well, it will be 4s1.
4s1 is
After 3p, it is going to come, electron is going to come in 4s orbital. That's why this will be 4s1. So I guess calcium is also there. Not right. 20, that is calcium. That is going to be 2, 8, which you can write it as 1s2, 4s.
2.
Correct this potassium and calcium. Now the thing is, now as you can see that as the atomic number is increasing, the configuration is becoming much larger in size. Initially, like it was just 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 2p2. It was okay. But say for calcium, you are writing 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. You have to write so much of it. So that is why there is another convention of writing the configuration. So both of this is acceptable. But if you find this one to be much easier, then you can obviously go through this one. Otherwise, there is another convention where, see, what do we mean by 1s2, 2s2, 2p6? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 means neon, and neon is a noble gas. So we write it with respect to the noble gas. That is, how much more is it from the noble gas configuration, from the nearest noble gas. So over here, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. This part means what? Neon. So we can also write the configuration of sodium as third bracket neon PS1, because already we have established that 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 is the neon. Now this I can do it only with respect to the noble gas, as if like noble gas are like the larger train stations where all the train has to stop. So they are also kind of similar. So it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. This is the noble gas. Neon 3s1. Then C282 magnesium can be written as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 means neon. Now for writing this, the configuration this way, you need to have much more amount of practice. Because although now it is looking very easy, but when you will be told to write arbitrarily any atomic number and their configuration, then you need to have a very, very good practice and a very good grasp over the periodic table. Only then you can write it. Otherwise, you fumble to write it. Let's say 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. That's why this is going to be on S2, 3p1. See, I cannot take it like 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 is basically magnesium. So this I cannot write the magnesium 3p1 because till this much is magnesium, so I cannot write it in this way. That this much I write it within bracket magnesium and then 3p1. I have to write it with the respect to the noble gas because noble gas is like the large stations where train will stop. Otherwise, smaller stations the train will not stop. Kind of that kind of thing. Here also. So this way the configuration can become much smaller size. Another way of writing the configuration. So now tell me what should be the configuration of potassium according to this configuration, according to this type of writing. See for
The
potassium.
argon 4s1.
Yes, argon 4s1 because this is a noble gas, argon is a noble gas, it is said nearest noble gas. Till this much is already a noble gas configuration. So it is going to be argon 4s1 and calcium is going to be argon 4s2. So as you can see, the higher atomic number we go, the more convenient it is to write according to this form. Because see, instead of writing so much, we just have to write argon 4s1. So much smaller, much neat and tidy this. But you can obviously use any of the convention that you want. That's up to you, the one that you find easy to write it in that way. What I initially feel is that initially the long one that appears in easy format, that is the one which we did previously. But then as you gradually grasp this thing, then you will see that yes, you will find like it's more easier to go via the second one. Okay. So is this new convention of writing the configuration clear to everyone, both of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we write from 21 to 30. 21 to 30. Do you know what atomic number 21 is? Atomic number 21 is scandium. Scandium. S. So now after 4s, where does the electron enter? Let's see. It enters in 3D. After 4s, the electron will come in 3D function. And how many electron can 3D hold? What is the maximum number of electron that can be present in a 3D function?
10.
Yes, it can be 10 electrons can be present in 3D because 3D has 5 orbitals and each orbital can hold a maximum of 2 electrons. That is 5 into 2, that is equal to 10. We have derived all these things in previous classes. Let's write for scandium. Scandium configuration is going to be, I will write by the second way only because that's a bit smaller to write. Argon 4s2 3d1, argon 4s2 3d1. Then the number 22 is going to be titanium. That is argon 4s2 3d2, right? Then atomic number 23 is vanadium, that is argon 4s2 3d3. Well, let us draw the box diagram only for vanadium, not drawing it for scandium and titanium because pretty much similar. You see, we will just draw the outermost ones. No need to draw till argon. In your school also, if you are told to draw the box diagram, or suppose like vanadium, don't start it to draw from 1s. Just draw the 4s and the 3d because we are more interested in what happens in the outer shell. So what you see over here, see 1 and 3d electron. 1, 2, 3. This is the 4s. This is the 3d. Bas. Now tell me what should be the configuration for chromium. What should be the configuration for chromium? Chromium is 24. What should be the configuration? It should be argon. Tell me.
4s2
Yes, 4s2. Then
and 3d4.
4s2, 3d4. Let's draw the box diagram over here. So now look into this very carefully. Now we are writing 4s2, 4s2, 3d4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the box diagram for chromium, right? As you have told me. Now see, what does the Hund's rule say? Hund's rule actually tells us that half-filled and full-filled configurations are highly stabilized. Half-filled and full-filled configurations are more stable than the neighboring configuration. This is what that the Hund's rule says us. So what now see what does the chromium think is that if I remove my electron from this 4s and put it in 3d, then my configuration is going to become a half-filled configuration. That means it will become much more stable. So chromium thinks that instead of writing 4s2 3d4, if I can remove one of the electron from 4s to 3d orbital, then my configuration will become a half-filled configuration, which is basically much more stable. So this is what chromium does. That is why the configuration for chromium is going to be 4s1 3d5. So chromium is an exception. This one is 4s1 3d5. So is it clear to both of you the exceptional configuration of chromium and why is it happening?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So chromium is an exception, so that's why chromium often comes in your school exams. Then let's go on to the next one. Manganese. Argon 4s2 3d5. Now again no more exception, normal it will go. 26 is iron. So argon. 4s2. 26. Then 27 is cobalt. That is argon. For S2, 27, then 28 is nickel. That is argon. 4s2, 28, 29 is copper. Can you tell me the configuration of copper? What will be the configuration for copper?
Argon,
Hmm?
4s1 3d10.
Yes, very good. Argon, 4s1, 3d. Okay. But before that, let's write down the wrong one. That is, we will write it as 4s2 3d9 because that is what which is normally expected. 4s2 3d9. And then let's try to understand that this is the box diagram. One, three. So 4s, two electrons in 4s, and 9 electron in 3d. Now see again, if we recall the above principle, it says that half-filled and full-filled configurations are much more stable. So just like chromium, here also the copper thinks that if I can promote my electron from this 4s orbital to the 3d orbital, then it is going to be a full-filled configuration. And we know that full-filled configurations will give it a much more higher stability. So that is why the configuration of copper is going to be 4s1 3d10, 4s1 3d10. So in this way, copper is also an exception. Copper is also an exception. Chromium and copper, this two has an exceptional configuration. 4s 3d. And then 30 again normal. That is zinc, argon, 4s2 3d10. So then can you tell me the configuration for gallium, 31 gallium? This is going to be argon. Can you tell me the configuration for gallium?
4s2
4s2
3d10
3d10.
4p1.
Yes, 4p1. So that means because the 3d has been filled up, that's why the next electron is now going to enter 4p according to Aufbau principle. Okay. So this is how we write the electronic configuration. Is now how to write electronic configuration? Is it clear to both of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you confident that you can do it any configuration if anyone asks you?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Please write and practice in your home, because if you not write and practice, then this configuration will happen. This write and practice. Take out like anything from the periodic table and write and practice. So now naturally you have to memorize some atomic numbers. That is from the periodic table. So 1 to 30 you have to memorize. Not the configuration. Configuration you can see that just if we know the rules we can tell them. So there's no point of memorizing the configuration. You need to know the name of the elements. That is 1 to 30. 1 to 30 you need to remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this way. You need to know the elements from 1 to 30 of the periodic table. And for your class 11, you need to know the element group 1, group 2, group 13, group 14, group 17, and group 18. Okay. So this you need to know like down the group. Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. This is your group. Then beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium. This is your group 2. 13 is going to be boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. 14 is going to be carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, lead. 15 will be nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. 16, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, polonium, tellurium. 17 is going to be fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. And 18 is going to be helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. So by this way, down the group, you need to know the elements from group 1, 2, and 13 to 18. 15 and 16 is like optional for class 11, but you can always memorize 15 and 16 because say 15 and 16, this is there in your class 12 syllabus. So either way, you have to remember it in class 11. So better to memorize the element name now, because and writing these configurations are like extremely important. Because when you will be doing the chapter of periodic table, there you will see that if you can write the configuration, half the question is already done. The next chapter that we will do in periodic table, you will see that if you can write the configuration, then you can easily think of answer. Or when you do group chemistry also in inorganic part, there also we will see that configurations play a huge role in the property of that particular element. Okay. Now another thing with respect to this configuration is, so suppose, so let's take this phosphorus thing. So according to the Bohr's theory, phosphorus has 3 orbits: first orbit, second orbit, third orbit. That is K shell, L shell, M shell. Right? Bohr has 3 orbits. So if you have to draw the electronic configuration of of phosphorus, according to Bohr, you would have drawn 3 shell and then put 2, 8, and 5 electrons. So here also, according to the new method also, you are seeing that only. See, this is the first shell where the principal quantum number is 1. So this is your K shell, the K energy level. Then these two are the L energy level, and this together is the third energy level. Okay. So that means basic Bohr theory is followed here also. And you see, the first shell has 2 electrons. Yes, 2 electrons. The second shell, that is 2s and 2p, combined has 8 electrons. That also we have seen 2, 8, 5. The third shell has a combined electron of 5, and that is also seen according to Bohr's theory. So somewhere down the line, Bohr's theory was much correct to some extent. That is why Bohr's theory is still taught to this day. Okay. Now we will do another question. That is, from very lower class only we have heard that iron has variable valence. Iron can be +2 oxidation state or +3. Iron can be either +2 or +3. That is either ferrous or ferric. And out of these two forms of iron, ferrous is less stable than ferric form. That means ferric is more stable than ferrous. Fe3 plus is more stable than Fe2. So now we can actually explain why Fe3 plus is more stable than Fe2. So now we will discuss explanation for the greater stability of Fe3 plus over Fe2. So what you need to do first is write the configuration of iron. What is iron? Iron is 26. Thus that is equal to argon 4s2 3d6. 4s2 3d6. So now when you write Fe2 plus, you write Fe2 plus. That means iron is actually losing 2 electrons. Fe2 plus means iron is losing 2 electrons. So now the question is, from where will these 2 electrons be lost? Will the electron be lost from 4s or 3d? Fe2 plus, from where should the 2 electron be given out? Should the electron be given out from 4s orbital or from the 3d orbital? What do you think?
3D.
3d. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 3d. It's not from 3d. See, although during writing the configuration, electron first comes in 4s, then 3d. That is true. That when we are writing the configuration, we are seeing that the first electron actually occupies the 4s orbital, then electron comes in the 3d orbital. But when electron is given out, always the electron is lost from the outermost shell. Electron is always lost from the outermost shell. And how to identify the outermost shell? Higher the principal quantum number, that is your outermost shell. So the shell with the higher principal quantum number is the outermost shell. So over here, 4s, the principal quantum number is 4, and for 3d, the principal quantum number is 3. So that means for iron, the 4s is my outermost shell. Even though the electron actually occupies the 4s orbital before the 3d orbital, but still, when electron will be lost, electron will go out first from the 4s orbital, because 4s is our outermost shell. It doesn't matter how it was filled up. While filling up to it was done energetically. Where energy is less, there electron will be filled up first. But when electron is lost, when electron is given out, the electron is always lost according to the outermost. Outermost electrons are always lost first. Okay. So that way, the Fe2 plus configuration is going to be 2 electron will be given out. So it is going to be argon 4s, 2 electrons are lost from this 4s orbital. This is going to be argon 6. So now if we draw the box diagram, one, one, 4, 5, 6. So this is the box diagram for Fe2 plus. Now see, we are not drawing the 4s because the electron has been lost from 4s. So if there is no electron, there's no point of drawing the box diagram for 4s. So this is the configuration for iron 2 plus. And what is the configuration for iron 3 plus going to be? Now see, for iron 3 plus, another electron has to be lost. Now there is no 4s, only 3d is there. So obviously the final electron will be given out from this 3d orbital only. And thus the configuration will become 3d5. So if we draw the box diagram, it will be like this. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now you tell me which one is more stable? Is Fe2 plus or Fe3 plus?
Fe3 plus.
Fe3
And
plus.
why is it so?
The half-filled configuration.
Yes. So because the Fe3 plus, we can see that it has a half-filled configuration. On the contrary, Fe2 plus does not have a half-filled configuration. So that's why Fe3 plus is more stable because it has a half-filled configuration. So this was the reason that why from lower classes we have been hearing that Fe3 plus is more stable than ferrous. So that's why ferric is more stable than ferrous. So is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we'll be having another homework for today. So that is, you need to tell me that copper also has a variable valence. Copper also has a variable valence. And it is either copper plus or copper 2 plus. So the variable valence of copper is either Cu plus or so here also you need to tell me which one is more stable. Is copper plus is more stable or copper 2 plus is more stable? Obviously you have to write and tell me that. Otherwise, so according to maths, you are 50% chance you will give the right answer. Then you take pen and tell me that is copper plus more stable or copper 2 plus more stable. Okay. So this is your homework. Which one is more stable? Copper plus or copper 2? Which one is stable? So I think that we have done 98% of periodic table. We just have one, like a very brief thing, a theory part that will be done on Friday, and that will be completing with the chapter. After periodic table, we will move on to after atomic structure, we will move on to periodic table, which is a much smaller chapter compared to this one. So it's my request that you should learn the chapter of atomic structure very carefully before you start periodic table, so that won't be a problem, because periodic table will be much easier if you have your concepts of atomic structure, of how to write the electronic configuration, if those concepts are totally clear. If you can write the configuration, periodic table can be done very easily. You do not even need to read periodic table. You are confident with the configuration. So periodic table won't take much time, hardly 1 week or 1.5 weeks. And then we move on to the first chapter, that is the concepts of chemistry or something like that. Maths chapter, molarity, stoichiometry chapter, whole concept. And your school is going to start from July.
Yes.
Okay, so then after July you will get to know your syllabus and everything. So quite far only. So maybe in this month we'll finish periodic table and stoichiometry also. And might be starting with chemical bonding. Chemical bonding also. But might confirm I'll be starting with chemical bonding in this month. So yes, so I'll be stopping here today.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
So Friday class will be in 7:15.
Yes, Friday your class will be from 7:15. That means that's your fixed time. Okay, I will tell sir to change it in the website also. Make it from 7:15. So it will be permanently from 7:15 only for Friday, and for other days to 7:45 normal. Only for Friday, the class will be from 7:15. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now, are you confident about the configuration? You can write any configuration. Are you confident about this? Confident. It's totally clear. So
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
please practice writing them because it's very important. So then that's it for today. I'm disconnecting the call then.